More than 300 South Korean workers who were detained following a massive immigration raid at a Hyundai plant in Georgia will be released and brought home. That's according to the South Korean government, who made that announcement on Sunday. Presidential chief of staff there said that South Korea and the U.S. had finalized negotiations on the workers' release. He said South Korea plans to send a charter plane to bring the workers home as soon as remaining administrative steps are completed. U.S. immigration authorities on Friday said that they had detained 475 people. Most of them were South Korean nationals when hundreds of federal agents raided Hyundai's sprawling manufacturing site in Georgia, where the Korean automaker Hyundai makes electric vehicles. South Korea's foreign minister later said that more than 300 South Koreans were among the detained. The operation was the latest in a long line of workplace raids conducted as part of the Trump administration's mass deportation agenda. But the one on Thursday is especially distinct because of its large size and the fact that it targeted manufacturing sites that state officials have long called Georgia's largest economic development project. So that is just the latest breaking news from that story that we brought to you earlier this week. The fact that more than 300 South Korean workers that were detained following that massive immigration raid at a Hyundai plant in Georgia will be released and brought home.
Where a creator talked about how Koreans suddenly care about the ICE raids because now they're impacted. He brought up a couple of things about how a lot of Korean Americans voted for Trump and how a lot of East Asians feel a false sense of proximity towards whiteness. As someone who grew up in the Midwest as like the only Asian in my school for a long time, I've never really felt that. I definitely felt more of the I am not like them feeling, but I do think a lot of Koreans have a sense of superiority around them. And one thing that continues to happen still in modern times is mission trips. Korean Christians love to go on mission trips, and it feels like modern colonization to me. I have some very religious family members that are continuing to do this, and it just feels icky. Not only that, but if you go to Korea and you're not Korean and you're not white, you will definitely get a different level of service in a lot of places. Last year, I traveled with a couple of my Chinese friends, and I noticed that they were getting treated poorly by a cashier, so I stepped in, and then things were fine. I know a lot of countries don't like a lot of tourism. It really does impact day-to-day life, but it was pretty blatant shitty service because of race. That said, I know that there are some more outspoken Korean Americans on this app and East Asians that really care more about what is happening in this country. I know that we are in a weird position where we are not accepted in Korea. Korea doesn't really like gyopos, and then we are not really accepted here because we don't look white. But if we don't start to care about other people in this country, then what are we even doing? I also know that I'm in a different position because I talk and think about race every day. My co-founders are Black and Indian, and we have constant conversations about the work we do, the clients that we take on, and how that really holds true to our ethos. I personally don't really think that older generations of Koreans are going to change their minds and care about other races, but I do hope that younger generations are changing.
A lot of Asian Americans thought that they were exempt from the ICE raids, and they are quickly finding out that that is not the case. Okay, so if you have not heard, a Hyundai plant in Georgia was raided, and a number of South Korean nationals were detained. Now, Hyundai is actually a South Korean car. They are a South Korean car manufacturer, and they were opening new plants in Georgia, and they had sent a number of South Koreans here to help get everything, flowing. And they did have, some of them obviously had visas. Now they're saying they are taking their people back, and there is going to be a pause on this Hyundai plant. Now, mind you, it's not just South Koreans that work there. It's Americans too. And now that plant might not run anymore. They might say, forget the United States, since y'all are detaining our people. Mind you, a white woman who is running for a state representative in a neighboring county actually bragged about making phone calls to ICE about potential illegal workers at the Hyundai plant, and other people who worked at the Hyundai plant called on these people. Mind you, you're working for a South Korean company and you're calling ICE on South Koreans. Nonetheless, I saw somebody say that they looked up the stats, and over 60% of Asians in Georgia voted for Trump. So they voted for this administration who is doing mass deportations, thinking that it was not going to affect their community. And I seen an Asian girl making a video about it, and she literally said Koreans or Asians are normally not the target, when it comes to deportation. Y'all remember what happened when they fought and sued to get rid of affirmative action, and then their acceptance rates decreased tremendously, while acceptance rates of African Americans or black people who they thought were getting in by affirmative action remained the same. They think they are the exception, and every time they find out.
This seems like the find out season for a lot of things. Hey beautiful people, welcome to my YouTube channel. So all credit goes to the creators in these videos, guys. This almost 475 workers that were detained, and over 300 of them were South Koreans. Apparently, they were not just random people. Some of them were skilled workers brought to America to help build this massive battery factory. And it was part of the big US, South Korea investment deal. And most of these workers actually had visas, but many of them came on business, or visitors visa, which will only allow you to attend to your meetings that you said you were coming for, or for visits, not for hands-on labor inside the factory. And some others were, they were caught with expired visas, or they were brought under the wrong visa category by subcontractors. And apparently, as we all know, under the US law, if you work outside your scope of visa, it counts as unauthorized employment. Even though they were not, in quotes, undocumented, right? Not all of them were undocumented. ICE treated it as violation and detained them. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, because from South Korea's perspective, these workers were not criminals. They were sent by Hyundai, pouring billions into the American economy according to them, right? And South Koreans, many of them are saying that this is disrespectful, that America loves Korean investment money but disrespects its workers. Guys, I need to know what you think about this in the comment section, because now the Korean government has sent a plane to pick all 300 of them and bring them back to Korea. Guys, let me know what you think, because South Koreans are saying America begged for our investments and now this is how they treat us. Let me know your thoughts. And in the US defense, many of them are saying rules are rules.
Asian community, being invisible doesn't keep us safe, and Georgia deportation 3 days ago just proved that. ICE raided Hyundai and LG battery factories, detaining nearly 500 workers, and in that, 300 were South Koreans. They were sent here to help us, and I can't help to put myself in their shoes and how terrible and terrified that must be. These people were shackled by armed men on a normal Friday just going to work. And that's reality we're talking about. I grew up in Georgia, and there's a lot of South Koreans and Asians community in Georgia, and that's what I love about it. And something that we share is family value. We work very hard, we stay very quiet, almost invisible. We don't rock the boat, and we don't dabble into politics. And as you all know, you've probably been to all the restaurants, nail salon, the dry cleaners. Because of that, I feel like a lot of our people voted for whoever promising them to protect their businesses, because it's purely based on survival. But this is why when you vote out of self-interest, you give away our power as a community. What happened in Georgia just now is a painful proof, because now even when we're trying to stay invisible, it doesn't protect us. Now I heard that they're saying that we're taking job from the local, and that's why this lady on TikTok is, reporting. To be honest, you don't want our job, and you never want our job, and you look down on us for doing all these jobs. I mean, have you ever rough stinky feet? I have, my parents have, my people have. But us Asian people do what we do best. We look down, we do what we need to do to raise our families and children for the next generations. But you can't respect that. Despise what our women, belittling our men, eat our food, enjoy our cultures and the goods that we have, traveling to our country, and still you make sure our children stay terrified of you, just so you can keep your privilege in check and your people feel safe. Because when I see the South Korean story, it's just all the same shit to me. People are just wanting to raise their family. In a nation where constitution begins with "we are the people," you sure don't act like it. This is not just about politics, you guys. It's about showing our works matter and what we do matter and who we are matter and our voices matters. Because if you give our voices away now, our next generation might not even have opportunity to have a voice. And it's already happening, Asian community, so wake up. You can't afford to be invisible anymore.
A few days ago, ICE and DHS conducted their largest raid in American history. They raided an LG and Hyundai plant in Georgia. Now, this is where the plot thickens, right? Okay, so ICE has been going around as the Gestapo, just wilding, bro, just wilding. The president ran on the fact that he was running to get rid of the criminals here in America who are here illegally, who are here violently, who are doing things. He wants to get rid of the worst of the worst. But see, you guys are so fucking dense and so thick-minded that you guys voted for him anyways, realizing that the numbers that Stephen Miller and Tom Homan and the Department of Homeland Security and ICE and Border Patrol, all these numbers that they're trying to project onto the American population to tell us, oh, we're going to get 1 million. These numbers cannot happen without sweeping up the people who are here doing it right, without sweeping up the people who might be here on temporary status, who might have some issues with the courts, but are here trying to do the right thing. It's wrong, bro. Pay attention to what's happening in Georgia. This Hyundai plant, Hyundai, Korea, man, the South Koreans, bro. If y'all don't know nothing about the South Korean industry or the South Korean economy, look to some of our best performing brands here in the U.S. They be killing it. They were set to open up a plant here in America, in Georgia. It was going to be opening up later this year. This plant was supposed to net the state of Georgia over 8,000 jobs. 8,500 jobs were supposed to come from this plant, from Hyundai and LG. The plant was going to be finished soon. There were contracted workers there who had visas. They were Korean. A lot of them were Korean. The thing is, bro, y'all want to bring manufacturing back here, but you guys are dumb as fuck. You guys are not trained. You guys are not smart. You guys need training. We don't have the skilled workers here. So the Korean nationalists were here working on visas, and ICE got a little bit of a word. They got a whiff that some of these people who were working at this plant, these fucking workers, almost 500 of them to be exact, they got a whiff that they were here and their visas were overstaying, and they were here past their time. So you know what ICE did? They rounded up, they went up in there and stopped all production at this plant, and now this plant's probably not going to get finished. This happened a few days ago. We have an administration who can now determine who is a terrorist and what they can do to that person. The consolidation of the power of the government is happening right the fuck now. It's happening right now.
So, y'all, apparently ICE is not just looking for black and brown people. They just had the largest single site raid in ICE's 22-year history, and they were looking for South Koreans. Child, if you don't know, so Hyundai makes electric vehicles, and their largest manufacturing plant is right outside of Savannah, Georgia. It's where they make the batteries. Y'all, ICE has been apparently researching this and investigating for months, and went today as a collaborative effort. They had everybody there, y'all. They had the FBI, DEA, ATF, Georgia State Patrol. Of course, ICE was there. I might be missing somebody, but it was all hands on deck. And honestly, when I think about it, with having that many agencies makes me think that there might be a rabbit hole here. There's got to be a little something more to the story. Anywho, the people that were there, they arrested 475 people. Huge. Most of them were from South Korea. They were people who were on visa waivers, so they were not supposed to be working in the U.S., people who had overstayed their visa, and people who were just here illegally. Y'all, they were checking the people's documents on site and rounding the people up. They have the people housed somewhere here in Georgia. I'm not sure exactly where. And they said local news has been reporting about this for over a year because previous employees had been calling to report it. So I guess people were mad that the South Koreans came and took their jobs. The funniest thing to me, y'all, when I was trying to research this, you know who's talking about it the most? Hispanics.
And we all know who they overwhelmingly voted for, because social media is saying that, okay, this is not how allies treat each other, because South Korea is one of America's closest partners. I mean, they have invested billions in US factories, created thousands of American jobs stood by the US and all of that. And yet they are saying that in one of these moments, their workers are treated like criminals, and all of that. and Koreans are feeling that this is a betrayal of their trust. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. And for Americas, it raises a question about whether strict immigration enforcement is what the damage to relationship with key allies, because at this point I think America does not even care about who is an ally or not. Trump is just trying all his best to say, okay, he's keeping illegals out of the country, because it seems to be tarnishing the relationship that he has with many close allies. Look at Canada also. Anyways, at the end of the day, I think it's not just about laws, it's about dignity, it's about people, and it's like whether maybe nations that actually called themselves friends can act like it when it matters the most. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. But as we speak, South Koreans are on their way home. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I really want to hear from you. And I'll see you in my next video. Please stay safe. Ciao.